Okay, good evening, everyone. Can you hear me? Is it clear, my voice? Hello?
Yes, clear, boleh dengar.
Clear, clear.
Okay, so good evening, everyone. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Please take note of the disclaimer on the slide because in fact, a lot of the images I put into the presentation have copyright. They do not belong to me. I just use them as eye candy to help bridge the gap between what you see and what you hear me say. Nothing more than that. Also, I have tried to keep the words as simple as possible, but there are going to be several words which are somewhat, I guess you could consider them kind of technical, but their names they are names of the parts of the body. So given the fact that there's no replacement for them, I will have to use those very words, and so I apologize in advance if they are in fact difficult, unfamiliar, or of a technical nature that hinders complete understanding for everyone here today. With that being said, let me begin. So my name is Malik, full-time entrepreneur, ardent Lindsay advocate, and health enthusiast. Not unlike my wife, Nina Melinda, who I think most of you obviously will know. And I'm here once again to share some more thoughts, my perspective, so to speak, on what I hope will prove to be illuminating, if that's not too big a word, not only on the business of doing business, Bismillah, via the Shuangho platform, but also as a lens that helps pierce the veil of our perceived reality and sharpen thereby our awareness and focus on a deeper, more definitive, far more fundamental level, giving added meaning and purpose to the daily why that drives us to do what we do as Muslim Shuanghoians. So let me expand a little more about what I mean, and you'll see, hopefully, where I'm coming from with that kind of statement, inshallah. So there you see, hello human. So the human body, this is where I will begin, and then you'll see how it fits into or connects with Shuangho as I come to the end of the talk this evening. So the human body, the physical frame within which we traverse this world between life and death, without which we could never survive the material realm for even a single second, is a meticulous, masterful design. The engineering is intricate, intelligent, and highly adaptive at both microscopic and macroscopic scales. Of course, there are many out there in this world who strongly endorse the idea that this is entirely the result of evolution. In fact, they insist that they are correct. They insist so much so and proffer the overwhelming consensus of the mainstream scientific community as proof. But this is only an opinion. It's more of a theory that they hold. They don't have the indisputable, undeniable facts at hand to put this forth as an actual truth. So this is an opinion that they're perfectly entitled to, but not a theory that I would suggest that we as Muslims can so readily or gullibly accept. Okay, so, and here's why. فقال الله تعالى في كتابه الكريم بعد بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم لقد خلقت الإنسان في أحسن تقويم. And so Allah has said in the noble Quran in Surah At-Tin, لقد خلقت الإنسان في أحسن تقويم. Verily we have created man in the best of forms. And then let's go on to see what this might mean, possibly, how it comes about, how it manifests in the real world. So indeed, if you just consider for a moment the cellular complexity of the human body, trillions upon trillions of cells, 200 types in all, each coded with DNA and pre-programmed to perform a very specific range of highly specialized functions, automatically, on a non-stop basis, each communicating as and when necessary. A vast network of chemical, neuronal, and endocrinal pathways, employing sophisticated signaling mechanisms, as well as chemical messengers and receptors to coordinate countless cellular activities that maintain and sustain physiological balance. Consider the organs too. The body comprises several such systems, as I'm sure everybody is familiar with, because it's part of the OPP series of slides. So we have the cardiovascular system, we have the nervous system, we have the respiratory system, and the digestive system, each multifunctional, each created to maintain a state of homeostasis within the body, each absolutely crucial to life in this world, and each and every one an integral part of the whole. Add to this an ever alert, adaptive, and always on immune system, so inherently intelligent it can readily recognize and even remember all manner of pathogens. By that I mean bacteria and viruses from the outside world, outside the body, whether they're mutated or not. And what it does is orchestrate in response to these pathogens being finding their way into the body. It orchestrates a strategic, multi-pronged offensive that, when deployed for optimal impact, combats bacterial and viral threats efficiently and effectively, leaving us, the owners of the body, or the users of the body rather, with a grateful smile and a clean bill of health. Then you can add to this another system, our neurological network, comprising a nervous system that is physically hardwired to the brain. This neuronal network spans several hundreds of thousands of kilometers and has the capacity to process untold amounts of information at lightning speed, spontaneously monitoring, managing, and controlling more body functions than we can ever hope to count, including complex yet highly coordinated cognitive responses to all manner of random stimuli from both inside the body and from without, from the external world. Indeed, we really can't, I guess, even begin to imagine the computational power of 86 billion interconnected neurons working in perfect concert with trillions of specialized brain cells called glials. So there's a technical word, glials. These are specialized brain cells, which together process an estimated 20 petabytes of data every single day. So 20 petabytes of data is approximately equivalent to 20 million 1,000-page books. So imagine all the data, all that data in 20 million 1,000-page books. That's the processing power of the brain and how much data it computes each and every day on average. So yes, I mean, I know and I'm well aware that we are merely skimming the surface here of what the body is and what the body can do. There is so much more to say, so many more details that could and should be shared about the marvels of the body and how it serves us in life. But I know the clock is ticking, as it always is, and that has obviously many meanings, more than just a meeting here tonight with a talk to be heard. But time does not permit us to go into or dig as deeply or delve as deeply as we might like. Maybe that would be for another day when we can focus on a particular system or a particular organ for more information, more knowledge about how the body works. But there's one thing that I want to share that I feel is very important. Did you realize that most of what we have made mention of, so all these systems, all these organs, all working together in a beautiful symphony, if you will, the chemical processes, the biological processes, the electrical processes, that are taking place even now as we speak, even now as we listen to this talk. They're all taking place, and they're all happening automatically, synchronistically, without the need for our conscious intervention or control of any kind, in fact. It's all happening behind the scenes so that we can go about our day and listen to talks or go and have a sandwich or a cup of coffee or whatever else it is that we wish to do on that particular day. All of this is happening unbeknownst to us, but the level and complexity of the biological, chemical, electrical workings within our body is beyond well, it's beyond measure, beyond compare, and it's still something that we're learning about, trying to understand, and we have a long way to go. So this impeccable precision, this staggering synergy of which I'm talking about, yes, it is a marvel, and this underscores the majesty of the designer. Allahu Azza wa Jal, Al-Khaliq Al-Musawwir. Allah, the mighty, the majestic, the creator, the fashioner. So this is like a signature of sorts, embedded in the very fabric of our own body, in the very fabric of our being. So just want to, if I may, reinforce this notion a little more before we get to the actual point of this evening's address. So permit me to share just a few more facts, because there are many wonderful things that we can say and share about this. So did you know, for example, that cellular repair and regeneration, for example, is relentless? Our body replaces about 300 billion cells each and every day. Imagine that, 300 billion cells every day, every single day. And then let's talk about the regulation of breathing. There are, in the lungs, about 300 million tiny air sacs, and their job is to streamline the exchange of oxygen and carbon dioxide at the cellular level with incredible precision, without break. So we have life-giving gas in, we have waste gas out, no fanfare, no fuss. This is the body at work, beyond our comprehension and beyond our conscious knowing. Meanwhile, digestion is busy, extracting essential nutrients for cellular nourishment. This is aided initially by saliva. So as soon as the food enters our mouth, the saliva starts to digest the food. In fact, if we eat with our hands, there's also digestion taking place there from the touch. So let's imagine that we're eating with a knife and fork, for example, to keep it simple. So the saliva begins to break down the food, and then it goes down the esophagus, into the throat, into the stomach, where the highly corrosive hydrochloric acid of the stomach begins to absorb the minerals, such as calcium and potassium, for example, where it kills the unwanted bacteria that may have followed the food, where it also breaks down proteins into more digestible bits before entering the intestines, the small intestines, where trillions of beneficial gut bacteria, and these number two in their trillions. In fact, I think I read somewhere there's more gut bacteria than there are cells of the body. So they also number in the trillions. There's even a philosophical debate as to whether we are human or bacteria, because of the number of these bacteria in our intestines. But that's, once again, something perhaps we can discuss another time. So these gut bacteria, they set to work to aid nutrient absorption, to synthesize vitamins, to boost immunity, and even balance our mood. And then just down the road, nearby, we have this dynamic adjustment of blood pressure, maintaining the cardiovascular equilibrium. So the heart has been designed to pump approximately 2,000 gallons of blood every day without stopping, obviously, because that would be detrimental to our existence, and without rest, other than the infinitesimal break between beats. So there is a very short time in between each beat where it has a moment, literally a moment, a nano moment, to take a break from the beating. And in so doing, in beating in this way, in this manner, it supplies or ensures a steady supply of oxygen and nutrients to every single cell in the body, whilst also removing waste, okay, across a vast network of arteries, of veins and capillaries, which stretch on average over 100,000 kilometers in length. Then we can say, okay, so that's good, wonderful. What about the liver? We all know the liver is an organ of primary importance. It's the body's biochemical powerhouse. It plays a pivotal role in nutrient metabolism and detoxification. And then there's the kidneys, unsung heroes, performing multiple life-preserving tasks, quietly filtering 200 liters of blood or so every day, and keeping the water, the electrolytes, and the acid-base ratio in perfect equilibrium. Once again, without us really realizing it or having knowledge of it, everything's done on the quiet, behind the curtain or the veil of this world that we perceive with our eyes. And what about the skin? Our body's protective shield, a dynamic organ, 3 layers deep, which is crucial to temperature regulation, to immune response and defense, as well as the synthesis of vitamin D when exposed to sunlight. Then there's the bones, living tissues that provide the skeletal structure around which our muscles and organs are wrapped in connective tissue and skin. They are key for movement, for posture, for stability. Bones, incidentally, also store minerals, and they manufacture blood cells that keep our circulatory system running smoothly. And then let's not forget or overlook the endocrine and the lymphatic systems either. The former, the endocrine system, is a network of tiny yet profoundly important glands, including the pineal gland, the pituitary gland, the pancreas, the thyroid, and the adrenal glands. All of them, to some degree or another, are responsible for regulating many, many functions, such as growth, reproduction, our metabolism, and stress responses. As for the lymphatic system, this is essentially an extensive network of very thin-walled tubes and organs, such as the thymus and bone marrow, that connects with all other body tissues and organs to deliver something called lymph. This is a crucial medium for immune surveillance, for immune defense response, and it helps to protect us against infection and disease. I can see the clock is ticking, as it always does, and we haven't even touched in any detail whatsoever about the senses, about the teeth, about the muscles, about the tendons, about the ligaments and the cartilage, about the blood, the urinary system, the reproductive system, the integumentary system, which is a fancy word for skin, hair, nails, and sweat glands, the cerebrum, the cerebellum, the brainstem, the lobes, the double helix DNA, the genes, the chromosomes, and the myriad cell structures such as mitochondria, ribosomes, and cytoplasm, to name but a few of the things that we haven't touched upon, from a body that is made of clay. You see how complex we are, how wonderful we are, what a miracle we are, existing in this world with so many systems working together, integrating more functions than we could ever hope to count or even understand, working together in complete and absolute harmony, not our behest, because there's another controller in play here, as we know, but all of this is just made of simple clay. Imagine how complex and how wonderful this is. So this is why in the Quran it says, having said that, having seen that, having understood that, having appreciated it, فَبِأَيِّ آلَاءِ رَبِّكُمَا تُكَذِّبَانِ, then which of the favors of your Lord would you both deny? This particular ayah is talking to the jinn and to man. That's why it says both. But the idea is that there are so many wonders about this world in its entirety, this universe in its entirety. And we focus on one part of it, which is us, which is our body, the cage that carries us in this world from the time we are born to the time we die. So indeed, yes, so many favors have we been blessed with, too many to ever know or count. But this, notwithstanding the impossible challenge of knowing everything, is why people go to medical school for many, many years to study and understand the body alone. I'm not even talking yet about disease and how to deal or heal those diseases. The body is an encyclopedia of knowledge, an open encyclopedia, given that discovery and learning is ongoing and will likely never end. A point which brings us, rather conveniently, to where we need to be this evening. The reason for being here, the reason for sharing the many marvels of the body, the reason for wanting everyone to better appreciate and understand how precious a treasure our body truly is. A unique and irreplaceable gift. A deeply cherished, high value trust. Indeed, in Sahih Bukhari, it was related that Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, "Inna lil jasadi alayka haqqa," meaning, indeed, your body has a right over you. Now, typically, the word that we use when we talk amongst ourselves, or Muslims talk amongst fellow Muslims, we use the word amanah, trust. So even though it doesn't specifically state trust here in this line, jasadi alayka haqqa, this notion comes through very strongly and kind of underscores the idea that we as individuals do indeed have a responsibility to take care of our bodies as part of fulfilling our obligations in Islam. So adding significant and undeniable weight to this fact is that Allah, our Creator, is actually the acknowledged, the true and the rightful owner of all He creates. Meaning that the bodies in which we reside in this world, that we use in this world, that we make use of in this world, that serves us in this world, are indeed nothing more than a trust bestowed upon us. Meaning there is upon us an obligation, a responsibility that must, no matter what, ensure we care for it, we protect it, we keep it safe and sound for so long as we live and breathe. And in Surah Al-Baqarah, it says, "Lillahi ma fis samawati wa ma fil ard." And it says, to Allah belongs all that is in the heavens and the earth. So that includes us and the Amanah, which is the body in which we have been given to use. So interestingly, just to reinforce the power of this point, I would like to share with you the simple fact that the word trust in Arabic, Amanah, which is a word you probably know, shares the same etymological root as Iman. So Iman and Amanah are from the same root. And there's another word too, a word that was used to describe the very character of Prophet Muhammad, a word that was used even by the kuffar during his time when he was alive, to describe the character of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And that word being Al-Amin, a word which means the honest one, the trustworthy one, the reliable one. So what we're saying here was, when we look at that particular word or that particular obligation upon us, that responsibility upon us, when we look at it from this particular light, the concept of trust takes on a whole new level of meaning. It is magnified and naturally elevated to a new and esteemed pinnacle of integrity and excellence. It becomes a benchmark that is interwoven with our faith, with our Iman, and an irrefutable obligation to follow the moral code of Al-Amin, of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So what I'm saying here is this bolsters and reinforces the need, the absolute need, to understand our body is a trust. It's a medical, biological, chemical marvel, a trust given to us to take care of. And this trust is amplified because of these interconnections between these particular words. So if the trust is amplified, so too the expectations upon us. Because now we don't only have to answer to Allah, we have to answer to the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and we have to answer to ourselves with respect to the actions we take or don't take in safeguarding the general health and well-being of our body to fulfill the trust with which we have been endowed. This is a mighty task, perhaps, but it becomes incumbent, therefore, upon us to eat and drink nothing but the best in balance and moderation. These are things that we know, but now the narrative becomes very solid. There's even more reason now to take extra care about what we eat and what we drink, to give our body nothing but the best, to always eat in balance, to always eat in moderation, to fast as and when we can, to cleanse the body, and to keep building ever better health, to keep improving our health, to sleep in accordance with our biological come spiritual clock, to exercise regularly, for the body, like it or not, is designed to move. Staying still literally kills us, as a wealth of global research, if you were to look on the internet, will readily reveal. This means that halal is a minimum, but tayyib, meaning high quality, ethically sourced, sensibly prepared, and 100% beneficial for one's health, food and drink is preferred, okay? Albeit a tough call in these days of manufactured foods sourced from GMO and processed with all kinds of chemicals in labs, labels as factories. Nothing is really fresh anymore, and nothing totally free from a tainted touch of pesticides and herbicides and the like. But therein lies the challenge. We can take on together with Shuang Ho. For no matter the odds, try we must to beat them into submission, to prevail in these challenging times, albeit against the tide of sheep walking in the opposite direction, to learn what is good for our bodies, what is bad, to build our knowledge base, casting the dark veil of ignorance aside, knowing that accountability for every decision made, be it right or be it wrong, is key. And knowing that what we learn should not only benefit us, our families and our friends, but the well-being of the greater community too, wherein we know Shuang Ho tells us when we go out there into the real world is to do nothing more than share what we know. And hopefully that benefit will be transferred to them as well. So this knowledge of self and health expands our circle of responsibility, of trust. It grows as we grow. So do not be afraid. Therefore, I would suggest to go forth and share knowledge you have acquired of good health, of ill health, of disease, and relief from disease, helping as many people as how the body works, how healing works, how prevention is still far superior to cure, and the necessary steps that should be taken to ensure health becomes a habit, not a fad or a frightful reaction to some unexpected news from a visit to the doctor on a given day, any given day. Some people show people the power of holistic thinking and action, weaving the compelling story of Lingzi into the narrative, making Shuang Ho a part of the solution to their responsibility in safeguarding their trust. Health is an investment, not an expense. A mighty crown that only the sick can see on the heads of those blessed with wellness. So be true to yourself and the trust that carries you through this world. After all, spare parts are really hard to find, spare body parts, I mean, and they really work as well as the originals. So take care of what you have been given and do your utmost to keep it in prime condition. Now, it may sound a little somber, but our aim should be to die healthy. Like those people, I'm not sure if you've seen the documentaries or not, those people in the blue zones, where they work out in the fields until the age of 120 or more, and they have a strong sense of community, and they do not have any of the typical diseases, the comorbidities that we see in our society. They do not have these problems. They die literally healthy. They just die of being old, but they don't die of a cancer or a thrombosis or a stroke They don't have it. It's kind of alien to them in these societies. So this should be our aim. Obviously, we don't live in the blue zone, but we can at least work towards being as healthy as we possibly can in the environment in which we find ourselves today. And now I understand that the end is not always in our hands, regardless of how hard we work to keep our health. But intention is everything. So if that is good, all else will be true, inshallah. Meaning a body will be returned to its owner, or our body will be returned to its owner in the best of condition, because it was cared for with the right attitude, with the right amount of knowledge applied and understood, and with a purity of heart. So we return our body to its owner untainted for the most part by the troublesome touch of dunya. With that, I bid you good evening. Hopefully everything I said was relatively clear. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Go diamond, go beyond. As I say, go now. Thank you.
Okay, terima kasih Uncle untuk penjelasan yang sangat panjang lebar ni. Okay, dia macam deep sikit kan, tapi I nak try to interpret based on my own interpretation lah. Okay, juga baru-baru ni ada beberapa kejadian yang membuatkan saya ilham lah untuk benda ni. So yang paling menarik tadi awal-awal Malik ada share gambar baby kan, gambar baby. So baby dan hujung-hujungnya lah cerita tentang our aim is to die healthy. Maksudnya kalau boleh kita nak pergi dalam keadaan yang sihat dan kita pergi bila sudah waktunya. Itu adalah fitrah secara semula jadi kan. Pernah tak kita selalu kan sekarang ni bila baby the first few weeks kita pergi scan, and the first thing apa yang kita nak confirmkan heartbeat baby tu, betul tak? Okay, heartbeat tu that's the start lah. Lepas tu lama-lama setiap bulan kita pergi scan, kita tengok oh dia dah ada tangan, dah ada dah boleh bergerak dan macam-macam kan. Dan bila baby lahir pun mula-mula dia baring je, lepas tu dia berpusing, lepas tu dia boleh merangkap, jalan dan sebagainya. Itulah fasanya kan, fasa kehidupan. Tapi bila as we age, dah sampai umur-umur tertentu, katakanlah dah usia tua, tiba-tiba dah sakit-sakit sendi, sakit-sakit lutut lah kan. Kenapa kita pergi pula ke doktor untuk bertanya? Itu kan sebenarnya adalah fasanya kan. Kita dah muda, dan kita dah membesar muda, dan bila tua kita akan ke bayi semula. Kita dah lama-lama mungkin kita dah tak boleh jalan, kita dah tak kuat dan sebagainya. Tapi kita suka macam kalau sakit sikit kita pergi minta rawatan doktor dan sebagainya. Bukan doktor tu salah, tapi cuba kita fikirkan masa kita baby tu, ada tak kita cakap doktor, kenapa baby saya dah boleh berjalan, boleh tak nak bagi ubat untuk stopkan dia berjalan? Kita tak buat macam tu kan. Kita raikan dia punya pembesaran. Jadi bila kita dah age pun kita kena raikan juga. Kenapa bila kita suka ambil ubat-ubatan untuk stopkan ni, stopkan itu? Doktor, saya rasa tak selesa lah sakit-sakit ni, boleh tak stopkan rasa sakit ni? Kenapa tak macam tu? Sebab dengar tak tadi Uncle Malik ada share betapa complicatednya badan kita. Subhanallah kan, Allah dah jadi maha pencipta dan menjadikan badan kita dengan terma-terma, dan memang susah kita nak hadamkan semua. Nak menunjukkan it's very complicated badan kita, dan badan kita bergerak secara automatik. Dan kita dekat sini dalam yang hadir pada hari ini, bukannya kita perlu nak tahu pun all the terms, tapi untuk kita rasa bersyukur, untuk kita hargai badan kita. Dah sebegitu kompleksnya badan kita telah dicipta, dan maha pencipta. Sebenarnya orang yang katakanlah orang ni dia pandai cipta mesin, tapi sebenarnya orang tu adalah sangat-sangat hebat kalau dia tahu bila mesin dia rosak apa nak buat kan. Dia dah sediakan dah okey, kalau mesin ni jadi macam ni, apa kita nak selesaikan, mesin ni jadi macam ni, apa nak selesaikan. Sama juga dengan kita punya maha pencipta kan, dah ciptakan kita dan tahu jika ada apa-apa masalah dengan kita, dah ada dah solution dia. Sebab itulah kita tahu semua penyakit ada penawarnya, betul tak? Jadi ada baru-baru ni saya dengar dia kata kalau kita nak cari penawar, carilah penawar dari pemakanan. Sebab makanan jugalah salah satu punca penyakit kita. Macam Irna share awal-awal tadi, speaker pertama kita. Kata gula tu adalah untuk tenaga, tapi gula berlebihan boleh jadi toksin pula dalam badan. Jadi kita kalau kita nak makan tu, bukanlah kata jangan makan tu, jangan makan ni dan sebagainya. Makan-makanlah. Tetapi makan yang kalau boleh organik dan tidak membebankan badan dan berpada-pada. Itu paling penting. Sebab apa-apa yang berlebihan pun, makanan yang biasa bila berlebihan itu yang jadi penyakit. Dan again, tujuan kita hadir dalam majlis-majlis ilmu begini untuk inilah, untuk kita fahami badan kita ni terlampau kompleks, so tak perlu nak susah-susah fikir renyah-renyah. Yang kompleks, complicated tu biar doktor yang fikirkan, sebab diorang belajar bertahun-tahun nak fahamkan badan kita. Dan Cik Uncle Malik kata tadi, memang never ending lah ilmu tentang kesihatan badan ni, never ending. Begitu juga ilmu tentang nak kaji tentang cendawan ni pun never ending kan. Kita dah ada YK, dah ada YK2, rasa dah hebat dah. Tiba-tiba kita ada YKI pula, atau YKB, YKK dan sebagainya. Itu pun sebenarnya ilmu. Okey, bukan kita cipta benda baru. Dan apa yang tadi nak cakap? Jadi jika saya boleh rumuskan sekali lagi, okey, kita perlulah macam Uncle Malik kata, kita punya target kita dekat sini adalah kita nak hidup, jaga kesihatan kita supaya hujung-hujungnya kita akan pergi dalam keadaan yang baik, pergi dalam keadaan sihat yang tidak menyusahkan siapa-siapa. Dan that's life, okay. Bila tiba satu kita membesar dan kita happy-happy, masih kuat, muda sebagainya, dan as we age kita akan lebih lemah daripada masa kita muda dan sebagainya. So apa yang kita perlu buat lebih kepada jaga pemakanan kita, dan bila kita dah rasa sakit-sakit tu, pay attention to it. Okay, bukannya macam alah saya dah sakit dah, boleh tak tutup Swiss ni doktor, saya rasa macam malas lah nak period tiap bulan, doktor boleh tak bagi saya ubat untuk saya period setahun sekali je. Jangan dengar tadi kan kita dah kata tubuh badan kita sangat-sangat kompleks, macam-macam yang berlaku, suka-suka kita je kita nak stopkan itu ni, jangan. Okay, so kita hargailah kita punya badan kita, dan jika ada apa-apa rasa tak sedap badan tu, pay attention to it. Sebenarnya badan kita ni nak bagi tahu ada yang ia perlu dijaga dengan baik sebelum kita pergilah. Okay. So lastly, ada Kak Aina nak share sikit lagi sebelum kita tamatkan sesi kita pada malam ni?
Okay, insyaAllah nak try to rumuskan 2 point. Satu, pasal yang cerita bila kita dah sakit apa semua kan, dah hujung apa semua. If you can see my video, Kak Aina sekarang tengah baring. Tak berapa sihat, tapi Alhamdulillah masih lagi boleh berfikir dengan bercakap. That's one thing, Syuangho, Alhamdulillah pengalaman dah sepanjang 4-5 tahun kebelakangan ni, walaupun tengah sakit, masih lagi boleh beraktiviti. Itu I want to highlight. Sebab sebelum ni ramai leaders lain share bila kita sakit kita tak boleh bekerja kan. Here I want to nak tunjuk dan buktikan, dan juga pesan berpesan untuk diri sendiri juga, ialah melalui Syuangho lah, Alhamdulillah Allah pemudahkan. Sebab Kak Ina doa, bagilah peluang untuk kongsi. So walaupun dekat Ina sakit berbaring pun masih lagi berkongsi. Itu nombor satu. Syuangho satu-satunya yang masih lagi boleh beraktiviti. Okay, yang kedua, tadi ayah cakap pasal nak minta ubat dengan doktor supaya berhentikan period, berhentikan sakit, macam-macam kan. Pengalaman downline Kak Aina, Pakcik Aina, Kak Aina sendiri dekat Kelantan. Dia sakit saraf, berbelas tahun makan ubat saraf. Jadi bila dia serah diri, masalah kesihatan dia, buah pinggang dah terjejas sampai doktor sebut dialisis. Hati dah terjejas sampai doktor kata kalau tak ada perubahan, peringkat seterusnya adalah pengerasan hati, liver cirrhosis. Jadi 2 organ utama dia yang penapis utama dah rosak. Jadi Kak Aina tanya dia balik, Uncle buat research sendiri, sebab kita Syuangho sistem pendidikan, kita tak boleh nak suruh orang berhenti ubat tanpa persetujuan doktor kan. So Kak Aina ingatkan dia balik, Uncle buat research sendiri, ubat yang Uncle makan ni adakah memberi kesan kepada 2 organ ni. So true enough, 2 hari lepas tu dia kita orang video call, dan dia kata, Aina betul, Uncle dah buat kajian, dah cari kat Google, ubat yang Uncle makan ni memang betul merosakkan liver and kidney. Merosakkan. So dia fikir balik kita, ya Allah, berbelas tahun dia makan ubat saraf yang memang side effect memang nombor 1, kidney and liver merosakkan. So akak pun okay, Alhamdulillah. So apa keputusan uncle? Dia kata uncle dah stop dah ubat. So this is where boleh nak minta ubat dengan doktor apa semua, silakan, itu pilihan masing-masing. Cuma satu je nak ingatkan pesan untuk diri sendiri juga, ubat yang berasaskan kimia memang akan merosakkan badan kita. Sooner or later, 2 organ utama kita yang penapis, kita punya liver, kita punya kidney, ini yang organ utama akan rosak. Dan lagi satu yang akan rosak adalah sistem saraf kita. Arwah ayah Aina dulu, Allahumma salli ala sayyidina, saraf dia dah mati. Dan dia patuh apa yang doktor suruh buat, dia buat, makan ubat berbelas tahun, 20 tahun. Hujung-hujung saraf mati, komplikasi kencing manis. Dan bila dah sampai tahap tu, doktor pun kata, oh minta maaf, dah tak boleh buat apa, balik rumah tunggu mati. So, itulah. Okay, itu je nak share. Sekian, terima kasih.
Okay, terima kasih banyak. Betul. So last but not least, bukanlah kita bukan anti doktor saya kat sini. Kita memang perlukan doktor untuk mendapat apa-apa rawatan emergency atau consultation, dan ubat-ubatan pun kadang-kadang kita perlukan. Tetapi ingat, itu bukanlah untuk jangka masa panjang, untuk waktu-waktu yang kecemasan je kita perlu ambil lah jika perlu. Okay, so terima kasih banyak-banyak untuk semua yang hadir, yang memberi perhatian pada malam ini. Terima kasih pada semua sharer, pada semua speakers yang berkongsi pada malam ni. InsyaAllah hari esok, hari Rabu, kita ada sesi health sharing lagi sekali di Subanjaya. Dan ada shiatsu session. Siapa-siapa yang berdekatan ke lapangan boleh jemput hadir. Ada tiket masuk, bayaran dia RM10 sahaja. Okay, insyaAllah ada refreshment sikit disediakan. Dan jika siapa yang nak hadir, boleh tanya apply masing-masing lah, dia punya lokasi dia di mana. Dan kita punya meeting pada bulan ini adalah pada 17 Februari sahaja di Shuangho, meeting Bahasa Melayu. Okay, itu rasanya meeting terakhir sebelum puasa ke? Tak sure lah. Tak sure meeting terakhir sebelum puasa. Rasanya bulan puasa kita tak ada seminar Bahasa Melayu. Dan juga meeting Diamond Kak Umu akan ada pada bulan ni 14 Februari dan juga 28 Februari di Shuangho, iaitu pada hari Rabu 11 pagi hingga 1 petang. Okay, so siapa yang berkelampangan boleh susun jadual siap-siap. Pada hari tersebut kita boleh jumpa di Shuangho. Okay, so terima kasih banyak-banyak. Saya tak nak mengambil masa lain. Okay, kalau boleh kita ambil gambar sikit. Saya ambil gambar kat sini. Okay, ready? Okay, so rakaman pada malam ni insyaAllah kita akan share lah bila dah sedia nanti. Okay, terima kasih semua. Assalamualaikum.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi.
Salam. Selamat malam semua.
Okay.